Thank you very much for enrolling in your Washington Dealer Pre-License course. My name is Dallas Johnson. I'm the lead instructor of the Automobile Dealer Training Association, and I will be giving your training course. So first of all, I would like to welcome you and congratulate you on your decision to start this incredible business. I want to remind you, you must watch every video in your Washington Dealer Pre-License course. And once you've watched all the videos, your official Washington Dealer Pre-License Certificate of Completion will just pop up automatically on your screen, and you'll need to save a copy and submit that with your dealer license application. I want to give you an idea of all the content that we're going to cover together here in your Washington Dealer Pre-License course. We're going to cover your contact information. I'll go over all of your pre-license steps. I'm going to show you how to actually apply for your dealer license. We're going to cover your transaction documents and records. I'm going to show you how to collect sales tax and file what are called excise tax returns. I'll show you how to legally use your dealer plates and issue what are called temporary license plates on the vehicles you sell. We'll go over dealer ethics and unlawful activities. I'll show you how to choose the correct business entity that's best for you. I'm going to go over advertising and deceptive trade practices, odometer disclosure, odometer fraud, and I'm going to cover vehicle history reports. And then we're going to delve into Federal Trade Commission buyer guide laws. We'll talk about federal laws out of Washington, financing rules, buy here, pay here, Uniform Commercial Code and repossessions, dealer floor plans. I'll show you how to hire employees. And if you are hiring employees, I'll let you know about prohibited employment practices. I will then give you an overview of dealer auctions. And then at the course ending, I'm going to give you an overview of dealer management software, which will dramatically simplify the operation of any Washington dealership. First, we're going to start your Washington Dealer Pre-License course by giving you some really great contact information, and then I'm going to cover what are called your pre-license steps. Dealer licenses in Washington are regulated by the Department of Licensing, or what I'm going to refer to in the remainder of the course as the DOL. And they're located in Olympia, as you see right there on your screen. You can contact them at any time, 360-705-6741 with questions. And there are a couple of different email addresses that you should be aware of depending on your questions. If you do have general dealer questions, you can email dolbpdcompliance, did you get all that, at dol.wa.gov. If you have e-permits system questions, which we're going to cover later on your course, you can email driveshelp at dol.wa.gov. And if you have the application e-permits questions, then bvohelp at dol.wa.gov. And I will give you those resources again later on in the course. So the Department of Licensing, they're going to process your initial dealer license application. And I really want you to be aware there is no such thing as a stupid question in this industry. So whether you've got a question about how to get your dealer's license initially, or maybe you've just gotten your dealer's license and you have questions, or maybe you've been a licensed Washington motor vehicle dealer for 20 years, there really is no such thing as a stupid question. As I say time and time again, the only stupid question is the one that you don't ask. So you don't ever want to wing it. If you're not really sure how to complete some form or maybe how to complete some sales process, staying in contact with the Department of Licensing is really one of the best bits of advice that I can give you during your dealer training course. I first want to cover with you the different types of Washington dealer licenses. First, there is a motor vehicle dealer, which deals in new or used motor vehicles or both. There's also what's called a miscellaneous vehicle dealer, which deals in motorcycles or vehicles other than motor vehicles or mobile homes and travel trailers or any combination of such vehicles. There's a manufactured home travel trailer dealer, which deals in mobile homes, park trailers, or travel trailers, or more than one type of these licenses. There's also what's called a vessel dealer. And these are the dealers that deal with vessels, such as boats. Off-road dealers deal in off-road vehicles such as side-by-side, UTVs, ATVs, or any vehicle that will be used off-road only and are not licensed to travel on public roads. A snowmobile dealer obviously sells snowmobiles. And then I want to let you know what is called a sub-agency dealer, which can operate at more than one location or operates under more than one business name. Motor vehicle dealers, miscellaneous dealers, and manufactured home travel trailer dealers can obtain a sub-agency license. I want to first cover your dealer pre-licensing steps, and these are the steps that you must complete before you apply for your Washington dealer's license, and that's why they are called dealer pre-license steps. You must complete every one of these steps before you apply for your Washington dealer license. I want to repeat that information. You must complete every one of these steps before you apply for your Washington dealer license. That's why they are called pre-license steps. I want to be very direct with you. If you skip any of these steps, you will not be able to apply for your dealer's license. So the name of the game is to complete all the steps before you apply for your dealer license. And we're going to cover each of those steps, including how to submit your dealer license application, whether you're going to do it online or via mail. I'm going to cover your business location requirements with your sign requirements as well. I'll show you how to maintain your phone requirements. And most businesses, including corporations, partnerships, limited liability companies, and limited liability partnerships, will need to register with the Secretary of State, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Most dealers are going to get a federal employment tax ID number, and all dealers will need to obtain a reseller permit from the Department of Revenue. You'll need to get a local business license. You're going to need to get dealer surety bond and insurance. You have to complete a criminal history statement and financial statement and property documentation. Then you're going to activate listserv. You will complete that pre-license course, and then once you open, you're going to maintain your hours. I know that seems like a lot, and it really is a lot, but if you really want to hit it, you can usually complete a very large majority of these steps in a very short period of time, although it does take a little bit of time to get some of these licenses back from the state. But once you've completed these steps, you'll legally be able to apply for your Washington dealer's license. So let's cover the steps right now. Submitting the dealer license application. One of the obvious pre-license steps is actually applying for your Washington dealer license. And as I stated, you must complete all of your pre-license steps first. Then you're going to gather up some licensing application documents that we're going to cover later on. And you can either mail your application or you can do it online. If you do it online, it takes about 10 days. If you do it via mail, it takes about 6 weeks. So I'm always going to recommend that you do everything you possibly can online. And when you are ready to apply, you're going to do it at dol.wa.gov, or you can mail your application packet to Olympia. And I'm going to cover the dealer application process extensively a little bit later on in your dealer training course, so you can apply for your license correctly and get it back from the state as soon as possible. Now, I want to cover your very important business site requirements. You must have a bricks and mortar location for your dealer's license. The state would never allow some type of virtual or like cloud-based dealer's license where a dealer would show up at the Walmart parking lot and then sell a vehicle and disappear forever. The state of Washington wants to make sure that your customers know where you're at after the sale. So you must have a physical bricks and mortar location for your dealer's license. And I want to cover some of those mandated business location requirements with you right now. Your business location must comply with all local building codes and zoning and other land use ordinances. For more information on zoning, you can contact your city or county directly. Now, I want you to be aware, no matter what, this is a state law. Your location has to be zoned for a dealership. And you can easily find this out. If you're in a city, you can call your city hall, usually ask for the zoning office. Or if you're not in a city, you're in a rural area of a county in the state, then you can call your county courthouse. Usually you can ask for the zoning division and let them know the address that you want to have your dealer's license located at, and they'll look up zoning, and they'll either say, yes, it's zoned for a dealership, you can have a dealer's license there, or they'll say, no, absolutely not, it's not zoned for a dealer. So state law is very clear. You have to be zoned for a dealer's license. It must be located at a commercial property with an enclosed building. You must have an exterior sign that is permanently affixed to the land or the building with your business name and the type of business, such as maybe auto sales. You will need to have what's called an operating telecommunications system. That's what state law says. That's a phone number listed in directory assistance. Now, a cell phone is acceptable as long as it's listed in directory assistance. And I'm going to show you how to get your phone listed in directory assistance here in just a few moments. You will need to be open from 10 o'clock a.m. to 4 p.m. 5 days per week, and these hours are referred to as normal business hours. Additional hours and days of operation can be added at your discretion. So you must be open the minimum hours, but you can also be open additional hours as well. Please be sure that the dealership must be staffed at least the minimum hours as required by Washington law. I want to cover some more site requirements with you. A vehicle dealer may display a vehicle for sale only at their established place of business, a licensed sub-agency, or a temporary sub-agency site, unless you're selling at a dealer auction. A vehicle dealer may deliver a vehicle for inspection, a test drive, lease, or purchase and have a customer sign agreements over the internet or at a location other than the vehicle's established place of business. but you must have an area to maintain books, records, and files at the business location. If 2 or more vehicle dealer businesses share a location, all records, office facilities, and inventory must be physically separated and clearly identified. The books, records, and files needed to conduct your dealership must be kept at the dealer's licensed locations. And I'll talk a little bit more about where you can legally store your records later on in your dealer training course. And finally, all vehicle dealers shall maintain ownership or what's called leasehold of the business property throughout your licensure year. You must always maintain legal access to your property. A mobile office or mobile home may be used as an office if it's connected to utilities and meets all state and zoning requirements. Remember, all zoning location requirements must always be met. Rooms in a hotel, rooming house, or apartment house or part of a single or multiple unit house may not be used unless the ground floor is devoted principally to the dealer offices. I want to talk to you a little bit more about what is known as a sub-agency. If a dealer operates at more than one location or operates more than under one business name, the main location is referred to as the principal place of business, and all the other locations are referred to as sub-agencies. Now, if you do have a sub-agency license, then you need a sub-agency license and a separate bond for each sub-agency, and I'll discuss your bonds here in just a few moments. Sub-agency records can be stored at the principal place of business. And, the department may grant an exception to the sub-agency requirement in the specific instance where a licensed dealer is unable to locate their used vehicle sales facilities adjacent to or at the established place of business. You will need to be aware of the state's phone requirements for dealers. You must have an operating phone system and a phone number listed in directory assistance. As I said a moment ago, a cell phone or mobile phone is acceptable as long as it's listed in directory assistance. If you do want to use a cell phone, it has to be listed in directory assistance. So how do you ensure your phone number is in directory assistance? Well, there are a few ways that you can accomplish this. First of all, you can contact your phone company and ask for your phone number to be added to an online directory. You could add your number to Yelp, or you can go to listyourself.net or Google My Business. So first, let's talk about this one. You can search for Yelp Business Listing Directory and ask to be added to the Yelp Business Directory. You can also go to what's called listyourself.net to have your phone listed in their directory. Or in my opinion, one of the easiest ways is to have your business listed in Google Business Listings. You can enter the address of your business location on Google and then scroll down and click on the Add Your Business link as you see right here. And you can log into your Google account if you have one, or if you don't, you can easily create a new Google account right here. You're going to enter your business name and create your business profile to be added to the Google Directory Assistance. And once your business is confirmed, you will be added to the Google search results when someone in your area is conducting a search on Google for the purchase of a motor vehicle. And so this can really add and lead to some new business in your area as well. So you must be sure your phone is listed in a public phone directory. Registering with the Secretary of State and obtaining a unique business number, or what is known as your UBI. If you are starting your business as a corporation, partnership, limited company, limited liability partnership, or if you're required to register your business with the Secretary of State and Corporations and Charity Division, most dealers will be required to register unless you're a sole proprietor operating under your real name. The Secretary of State Corporations and Charities Division has a very user-friendly website that you see right here that's going to allow you to easily register your business information with the Secretary of State. And you can see their URL there at the bottom of the screen. It's ccfs.sos.wa.gov. Once again, that's going to be ccfs.sos.wa.gov. When you land on this web page, you're going to click on the Create User Account button, like you see right here. And under the Free User Account section, you will need to click on the green button to continue. And now you're on the Corporations and Charities filing system, where you will find a lot of very, very helpful information. The first thing that you want to do is search for a business name that's not being used by another dealer. It's also ensure that you're using a name for your dealership that is not deceptively similar to another dealer operating in the state as well. The DOL would like you to have your own unique name for your dealership. So the first thing you want to do is click on the business search link like you see right here. Let's say you would like to call your dealership ABC Motors. So you could enter ABC Motors, and then over to the right, you're going to click the search button. And as you can see on the next screen in the middle, the name ABC Motors LLC is already being used. And the status is active. So you cannot be ABC Motors. That name is already taken. And over to the right, you can see right there, the status is currently active. You cannot use this name. It's already taken. So let's try another one. Next, let's enter XYZ Motors. So you'll enter XYZ Motors as an example, click the search button. And as you can see, XYZ Motors has no value found here. So that appears that XYZ Motors is available. So you can go ahead and register the name that you want for your business when you find that it is available. And while you were right there on that same screen, you can go over to the left, just click on Create or Register a Business to register the name that you want to use for your dealership. So I'm assuming that you are located in the state of Washington, so you're going to click to register a Washington state business. Then you would select your business entity from the drop-down box. For this training scenario, I want to show you how to register your business as a limited liability company or LLC. This is just for a training purpose only. You should definitely seek legal guidance on the best business entity for your dealership. And later on in your dealer training course, I'm going to cover that more extensively. I'll go over the different types of business entities extensively later in your dealer training course. Once again, you're going to enter the name that you want to use. You're going to go ahead and click on Lookup. And as you see here on the screen, the name that you want to use for this example is available, as you see right there in the green letters. Now you'll just add your contact information for what is known as the executor. Then you're going to select the nature of your business from the drop-down menu. And then you're going to pay your filing fee. And once your registration is approved, you're going to be sent a document that looks very similar to this document. This is your Secretary of State Certificate of Registration filing document that you definitely want to keep in your records. I'm also going to make a recommendation that you make a note of what's called your UBI. That's your Unique Business Identifier Number. And you can enter your UBI on registration forms in the future that'll easily look up the information that you have registered with the Secretary of State. So definitely make a record of your unique business identification number, as you see right here. Please be aware that all corporations, partnerships, limited companies, limited liability partnerships must register with the Secretary of State. If you have any questions about business entities or filing with the Secretary of State, here's all the contact information that you can see on the screen right there. The phone number is going to be 360-725-0377. Just click option 1. Or you can drop them an email at corps@sos.wa.gov. And their official website is going to be sos.wa.gov. Now I want to talk to you about your employer identification number. I'm going to make a very confident prediction, and I predict your income is going to rise in the next year. Having a dealer's license will allow you to gain entrance into dealer auctions and buy vehicles at low wholesale prices and mark them up to high retail prices to sell to your customers. And when you see the profit on vehicles that you buy at dealer auctions, I'm going to assume that you had probably wished you obtained your dealer license years ago. With that increase in your income, the state and federal government is going to want a little bit more of that action at tax time next year. So an employer identification number shows the state and the federal government that you're going to pay taxes on your newfound income. And by the way, if you hire any employees with your new business, you are required to have an employer identification number. And if you're filing taxes as a business entity, such as an LLC, a corporation, or limited liability partnership, you will need this number to properly file your taxes. You can simply go to irs.gov, and on the home screen, you're going to scroll down to where it says Apply for Employer ID Number. On the next screen, you'll see some simple instructions to get you started, and you're going to need to click on the Begin Application button. On this page, you're going to need to select your business entity. So whether you're a sole proprietor, partnership, corporation, limited liability corporation, or a trust. And once again, for this training scenario, I want to show you how to get your employer identification number as a limited liability or an LLC. I'm not telling you to start as an LLC, but you might want to refer to legal counsel or watch the best business entity unit that we'll cover later on in your dealer training course. On the next page, you're going to need to enter the number of persons on, say for example, the LLC that will be in the state of Washington, obviously. And then the IRS wants to know why you are requesting an employer identification number. And I'm assuming you're requesting an EIN because you have started a new business, or select another category there if that will apply to you. Then you will need to enter the first and last name and a social security number of one person whose name will be on the dealer's license. And then you'll need to select whether or not you're one of the owners. Click the Continue button. On this page, you're going to enter the address of your dealership along with your phone number. And I always recommend registering your business with the Secretary of State with your official address before completing all this documentation. Otherwise, if you enter an address here that does not end up being your official business address, then you would have to amend your EIN filing. So make sure that you have that address ready to go before you start on the paperwork like this one. And this will give you also an opportunity to enter any type of mail forwarding address on this page if you need. Then you're going to enter your dealership name, the county that your dealership is in, and you're going to be in the state of Washington. And if you live in the state of Washington, which I'm assuming that you do, then you're going to select the Washington drop down twice. And then you're going to enter your approximate start date. And now you have your EIN. If you want to, you can have it mailed to you, but that does take up to 4 weeks or longer. So I'm going to recommend that you go ahead and click on Receive Letter online to print it up immediately. And now you're going to see this document pop up, which is going to have your dealership name and address. And at the very top right of this document, you're going to see your brand new employer identification number. And this is the number that you want to record and include when you were applying for a reseller permit here in just a little bit. And it's also going to go on your official tax filing documents when you're paying your taxes for your new business as well. If you have any questions whatsoever about how to obtain an employer identification number, you can call 800-829-4933. Someone should answer that phone for you, or you can go directly to the website. That's irs.gov. There are companies that charge several hundreds of dollars to apply for your employer identification number for you, but always please be advised you can simply go to the IRS website, and with about 5 clicks of the mouse, you'll be able to get your employer identification number for free. I mentioned your reseller permit a few minutes ago. As we are moving along, I want to show you how to obtain what is known as your reseller permit. Later on in your dealer training course, I'm going to show you how to complete the paperwork during a sales transaction when you're selling or buying a vehicle. When you're selling a vehicle, part of the process will be the very easy collection of sales tax when you're selling a vehicle to a Washington resident. And by the way, if you've never owned a business that collects sales tax, the state of Washington has a very simple tool that will show you the sales tax rate, which will be based on the seller location, such as your dealership address. And you are going to charge sales tax on most sales to Washington residents. I will show you later on how to do that. But in order to legally charge sales tax when you sell a vehicle, you must have a reseller permit. You're going to need to register with the Department of Revenue to get your reseller permit. Here are some guidelines that I want you to be aware of on reseller permits. Now, generally, reseller permits are valid for 4 years. However, permits are valid for only 2 years if any of the following apply. Your business has been open for less than 12 months, so that's going to apply for you. The business has not reported gross income in the last 12 months, or the business was in active non-reporting status. So more than likely, I assume that you've been open for less than 12 months. So you are probably going to be obtaining a 2-year seller permit, but later on, once you've been in business for quite a while, then you will be able to obtain a 4-year reseller permit. Please be aware, this is the correct chronological order for some of the steps that you need in order to get your reseller permit. First of all, you're going to create a Secure Access Washington ID, which we refer to as your SAW ID, and then you will apply for your reseller permit, and then you're going to apply for your dealer's license, since you must have your reseller permit before you apply for your dealer's license. So once again, you're going to create a SAW ID, apply for your reseller permit, and then apply for your dealer's license. Let's get started with creating your Secure Access Washington, or SAW ID. To get started, you can visit professions.dol.wa.gov. Once again, that's professions.dol.wa.gov, as you see right here, and you click the Login or Sign Up button, as you see right there to the bottom right of your screen. And as you see on this page, maybe you already have a SAW ID if you have a License Express account, or if you've done business in the past with the Washington Department of Revenue, the Washington Department of Labor and Industries, or the Washington Employment Security Department. In case you do not already have a SAW ID, just click on the blue Continue to Secure Access Washington button that you see right here. Then you're going to click on the green Sign Up button, enter your name and email address. You're going to create a username and password, then click Create My Account. Now you are taken back to the login page. just click the login button, and I'm very sure that you're familiar with this process as you probably created a secure login to other websites in the past. You will then select your multi-factor authentication method, as you see right here, and the state will email you an authorization code. And then you just enter your code, as you see right here, and now you have created a SAW ID. So now you'll be able to apply for your reseller permit, and I want to show you how to do that right now. Reseller permits are issued by the Washington Department of Revenue. You can just visit dor.wa.gov and then click on Get or Renew a License. Now you're going to enter your SAW user ID and password, which will really simplify the process of obtaining your reseller permit. Now you are on the Department of Revenue Business Licensing and Tax Services website, as you see right here. You can either click on the Get Started button or the Apply for a New Business link. Either one of those will get to the right place. Add your contact information and create a security question. Now you're going to click on Apply for Business License. And on this screen, you will select that you want to start a new business in Washington State. Then you're going to enter your unique business identifier number. That's your UBI number that you obtained when you registered with the Secretary of State a few moments ago. You are going to enter some basic information. And I want to bring your attention to the box that says Federal Employment ID number. So you will need your Federal Employment ID number before you apply for your reseller permit. So chronologically, you should obtain your employer identification number from the IRS, like I showed you a few moments ago, and then apply for your reseller permit. Now you're going to enter the owners and officers. Be sure that the owners and officers match the owners and officers that you recorded with the Secretary of State filing. Just click on the Add an Owner or Officer link right there. Check whether or not you want the owners to be covered by workers' compensation. Then you're going to enter your location information. Now you will enter the date you will start your operations. If you're not sure, you can just select today or possibly tomorrow if you're unsure of your exact starting date. Then once again, you'll estimate your gross revenue. And hopefully your revenue will be much more than what you see on the screen right now. You're going to enter your contact information here, enter all your other information here, including your bank information. Now you will enter your primary business activity, and you can just enter auto dealer there. And on this page, you will enter your business activity. When you are a retail dealer, you can sell retail to the customer on the lot or wholesale to other licensed dealers or through the dealer auction. So you can sell retail and wholesale with a retail dealer license. If you're only a wholesale dealer, then you can only sell vehicles to other licensed motor vehicle dealers. Now you can view your endorsements page. And on this page, you will select vehicle and vessel dealer, as you see right here. And finally, on this page, you will see your BLS processing fee. You can then pay the fee with ACH or a credit card, and then you are taken to the state's secure payment portal where you can enter those fees to pay for your reseller permit. Now, I do want you to be aware you're going to get a confirmation and a receipt for that. And I also want you to be aware that it takes about 10 days in general to get your reseller permit approved. If you are mailing it, it can take up to 6 weeks. So once again, I'm always going to recommend that you always do everything that you possibly can online instead of in mail, and that's really going to expedite the process of obtaining your dealer's license. So then you're going to receive an approval letter from the Department of Revenue with a letter ID on it. So what you'll need to do then is enter that letter ID so you can reprint your reseller permit. So you'll take that letter ID as you see right there, and then you'll easily be able to print up your reseller permit. And you definitely need to display that in your office. And also, you'll need to display your Washington business license in your office. And later on, when you get your dealer's license, you'll need to display that as well. So please do be aware of these requirements. If you have any questions regarding reseller permits, you can call 360-705-6217 or shoot an email to resellerspermit@dor.wa.gov. For general tax and Department of Revenue questions, you can call 360-705-6705 or call the 800 number on your screen. And if you have any questions with business licensing applications, 360-705-6741, as you see right there. My goal during your course is to ensure that you maintain 100% compliance with all city, county, state, and federal guidelines. In order to maintain absolute 100% compliance, you will need to obtain a local business license. By obtaining a local business license, it will ensure that you are 100% compliance. If you are in a city, you'll need to get your city business license. If you're not in a city but in a rural area of a county, then I recommend getting your county business license. Let me show you how right now. Let's just say, for example, you're opening your new dealership inside the city limits of Seattle. You can just search for Seattle business license and you'll land right there on the Seattle business licensing page. And on the City of Seattle's page, you can either apply online or via mail. And like I said, I always recommend that you apply online. Let's say, for example, you're in Spokane. You can type in Spokane business license. You'll land on the City of Spokane's licensing page. If you are not in a city and you're in a rural area, then you should get a county license. Let's just say, for example, you're in Thurston County. You could search for the Thurston County website and get your Thurston County business license right there on the County of Thurston's official website. So please do keep this in mind. Obtaining your local business license ensures that you are 100% compliant with all city, county, state, and federal guidelines.